How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. Hope you guys had a great weekend and are ready to get back into it. I for sure am, and in today's video, you guys know what we're going to do. We're going to break down my game plan for this upcoming week, stocks I'm looking at, charts I'm looking at, my thoughts on the markets, and of course, moves I'm looking to make. So sit back, relax, hit the like button, subscribe, check out my Patreon down below if you guys want all my buys, sells, call outs, morning update videos, plus more, and you guys can get 50 free bucks from M1 Finance. Both of those are linked down below. And with that being said, let's get the party started. So last week, the markets did pretty well. SPY hit an all-time high at 472 bucks, and we ended up closing under the big level of resistance, 470, and that is on the 10-day chart. You guys can clearly see on this 10-day chart that we struggled at 470, which, mind you, was the all-time high from earlier in this month. We struggled at that point many times, and then finally on Friday in the pre-market, we broke out. We hit 472, which again was the all-time high, and then we ended up falling back under 470 in the middle of the day. We closed under it as well. And we also, on top of that, even though we closed under 470, we actually held a higher low on the 10-day chart, and we closed above the 180 SMA. So what I'm seeing here essentially is SPY is pretty much getting deeper and deeper into this wedge, right? So that is why I have my alert at 470, because I want to see if we end up breaking out again. Do we break 470? Do we go and gun for those all-time highs again? Do we break 472, go to 475, 480? That's kind of what I'm watching for. And when you guys are watching this video, the futures market's going to be open, which could easily flip-flop overnight, guys. Don't just think, oh, because the futures are up, they're down, that's what it's going to be the next day. But when you see the futures market, that's going to give you some sort of an idea of where the sentiment is in a way. So let me know in the comments where the futures are trading, because right now when I'm filming this video, it's 11 a.m. on the East Coast, and the futures markets, well, they're closed. So let me know in the comments where the futures are. Is SPY up, down? Is QQQ up or down? Let me know. And when it comes to QQQ, well, this also hit an all-time high on Friday, and this actually closed well above the wedge on this 10-day chart, and we closed above both moving averages. And overall, even though SPY looks pretty bullish in my opinion, QQQ looks way more bullish, because again, we closed above the moving averages, we broke out of the wedge, we closed above the wedge, whereas SPY broke the wedge but went back into the wedge into the close on Friday. So let's see what QQQ does. I mean, does this momentum continue? You guys saw last week, big tech did well. We had Google up, Apple hit an all-time high, Amazon's getting close to an all-time high. I think Facebook's starting to break out, Microsoft's at all-time highs, and now that I'm thinking about it, Google probably hit an all-time high last week as well. Yeah, it did, just above $3,030 per share. So let's see. What do you think? Do you think the markets are going to continue moving up? Do you think we're going to see volatility, maybe a down move in the markets? Let me know down below in the comments, and make sure to hit the like button if you guys are enjoying the videos. Maybe this video you like it, maybe my other videos you like them. If you do, hit the like button. It really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm to get my videos out there to a broader audience, and I do appreciate all of you guys out there taking your precious, valuable time to watch in. I do hope I provide value in these videos. So let's talk about some stocks. We have 10 today, a lot of which are reporting earnings this week, one of them reporting next week, the following week after Thanksgiving. And by the way, happy Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving week. I believe the markets are closed on Thursday. Friday, do we have I think we have a full day on Friday, so be prepared for that. Now that I'm thinking about it, we have a 4-day week, so keep that in mind when you are making moves this week. So stock number one is Dick's Sporting Goods, ticker symbol DKS, and we've talked about on this channel recently how a lot of these retail-oriented stocks like TJX, Macy's. A lot of these have been doing pretty well. We have Nordstrom this week as well, JWN, which we covered last week on Friday. A lot of these have been doing pretty well. And DKS, the chart looks pretty dang good. If you guys look at it, it's clearly holding an uptrend. We hit $147 back in the beginning of September. We then saw a bit of a pullback, profit taking, which is completely normal. We dropped about $30 or about 20%, so it got in a quick bear market, and then buyer stepped in at 115, started pushing it back up, and then recently we got back over the moving averages. We're now seeing a golden cross, and we have earnings coming up in 2 days. So what is that? On Tuesday, the 23rd of November. We have earnings coming up, so I want to see if this uptrend continues. We're currently still a little bit off the all-time high. We're about $8 away from the all-time high, or about 6%. So that gives it a little bit more left in the tank, in my opinion. And who knows, if these earnings are very good, guidance, revenue, EPS, like a lot of the other retail-oriented stocks were, let's say, the comparable sales are up a good chunk, like a lot of the other ones were, like Macy's, TJX. I think DKS could potentially take the highs out from a month or two ago at 147, and we could hit an all-time high, as now we're trading near all-time highs again. And look at this 20-year chart on DKS. This is actually insane. Wow, I didn't realize that. Back in March of 2020, this stock was 19. It actually got down to $13. So this is well over 10x from where it was in the March lows. And overall, it might be a bit too hot, but in the very short term, there could be some more juice in the tank. Again, up to the mid 140s, maybe even higher if earnings do come in looking hot. So the next one is Zoom, which the chart, unlike DKS, looks like crap, right? This is ticker symbol ZM. This stock has just been obliterated. I mean, if you guys remember, in the middle of the pandemic, when everything started to pop off a year and a half ago, this stock went crazy. I mean, it was $90 before the pandemic, right? Even lower, $80. That was in January 2020. And then it went all the way to almost 600, and now it's down to about 250. So it's lost 60% of its value over the past however so many months, about a year, a little over a year. But if you look at it, the stock is still up. Let's say you bought it about 2 years ago in November of 2019. The crazy thing is, you're still up a lot. If you bought it at $75 November of 2019, now it's $250. You're still up 3+X, which is unbelievable to think of. And that makes you realize that timing, there's a saying, timing the market, it's not good to time the market, but with some stocks, timing is everything. I mean, depending on, it really goes with valuation as well. If you buy a stock that's way too frothy, you're going to most likely, you're going to eat some in the short term, which is what's happening right now. If you bought Zoom when it was very frothy above 500, you're not looking too good right now. But if you bought it when it was not a hypey stock back before the pandemic, you'd still be up right now. So with individual stocks, sometimes timing is important, right? Buying at the right valuation is important. But with the overall markets, let's say you're buying SPY or VOO or VTI or whatever, I wouldn't necessarily try and time the market, because time in the market's better when you're looking at overall ETFs for the long term. I mean, you guys know the S&P's returned like 8 to 10% over a long period of time here when you're looking back in history. So it's good to have your money invested, in my opinion. But with individual stocks, you got to be careful, because if you chase the hype stocks, you buy them at the wrong time, you can get screwed. But now that it's cooled off a good chunk, hey, maybe earnings turn this thing around, which I'm not too confident that they will. I'm not banking on that, and I'm not gambling my money on it, but I'm going to be watching Zoom anyway, guys. Last time they reported, the stock went from 340 to 280, which makes me a bit nervous. If they drop the ball again, will this stock go to the low 200s? It's possible. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. It's definitely possible. So I'd be careful with Zoom, and if it started getting low 200s, maybe under that, Now the valuation might start getting decent, but then again, it's probably still frothy, even if it went to $150 a share. Let's be honest, because this stock got very pumped up. It was way too hyped, and it needs to cool off a bit, which is what we're seeing now. It's down about 60% over the past year. So keep your eyes on Zoom. Realty Income's another one that I'm looking at here. They don't report earnings this week, but I really like the chart that I'm personally seeing on this 4-hour chart, and the pattern looks pretty solid. We hit a $74 high back about a month ago. Now we're at $70, and you're noticing we're holding the 180 SMA, and on top of that, we're seeing a wedge. We're making lower highs and higher lows at the same time, squeezing deeper into the wedge. So to keep it very basic, all I'm looking for is direction when it comes to Realty Income. Do we break out of the wedge? Do we start pushing for that $74 high again? That'd be a nice breakout trade. Or do we fail at the 180 SMA, start dumping down to test the lows from, let's see here, when were those lows? Back in the end of September at about 65. What are we going to do? That's what I'm waiting for. So I'm going to set my alert. I'm going to put one alert here at $71. Mark is at or above to see if we end up breaking out of the wedge or at least trying to head into that direction. So stock number 4 is CVX, Chevron. Oil took a hit last week. You guys remember, I made a video on Friday talking about XLE, which is an oil ETF that I own, which all of you guys on my Patreon know since you get all my buys, sells, call outs, all that good stuff. Again, check the Patreon out down below. Oil is one that I've been bullish on for months at this point. You know, I had XOM, sold it, put that money into XLE in the low 50s, made some good money. I didn't sell out, but I'm up on XLE right now. And CVX is one of those stocks that's in the XLE ETF, and this one's pulling back now as oil's taking a bit of a haircut. It's cooling off. CVX is as well. It's went from 118 now to 112. It's down about 6%. And as of now, we are holding the 180 SMA on this 4-hour chart, which I believe could be a buy zone. You know, I think this might hold that support yet again as it has over the past 1.5, 2 months. And let's say we collapse under 110. It's going to be a pretty bad spot, in my opinion, to try and chase it, as it would be a falling knife at that point. So I'm going to put an alert. Mark is at or below 110. So I get alerted. You know, if this thing breaks 110, breaks the 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart, I'm not going to touch it. But if we do see a breakout, let's say above a $113, that'd be a spot where I'd think, okay, we're holding the 180 SMA. We're bouncing. We're probably going back to hit those highs from recently, about $118. Those were hit about a week ago on the 15th of November. So keep your eyes out on CVX. Best Buy, BBY is another one that I'm looking at. They report earnings. Let's see here. I think it's on Tuesday on the 23rd. That is pre-market, so this is going to be moving like crazy probably all day Tuesday and maybe even tomorrow, Monday, leading up until the earnings, right? And this stock has been, I haven't seen a chart like this in a while. It's gone up in a straight line, literally one or two pullbacks, mini pullbacks from $100, which was just about a month and a half ago. Early October, we hit 100. Now we're trading close to 140. This stock has gone up 30% in the past month, maybe a little bit less, 25, 30%. And it's pretty extended, I'm not going to lie. And we are seeing a bit of a bearish divergence, so I'd be careful. But who knows? With earnings coming up, like I said, these retail stocks have been doing well. Best Buy has probably done well this quarter, and it probably will do well the next quarter after the holidays as well. And look what they did last time they reported. The stock went from 111 to 125, then it pulled back, then it had that crazy run that we just talked about. So let's see what BBY does. You know, do we pull back towards those moving averages, low 130s? Do we collapse under the 50 SMA, start going to the 110s? I think if we go to 115, 120, that would be a gnarly dip buy. Yeah, gnarly. We're going to start using that word here on the channel, guys. That'd be insane, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I really don't, considering we're at 137 now. Saying for it to go to 117, 120, that is a bit crazy. But that would be a spot where I would consider buying the dip for sure. HP, let's pop it up. HPQ, they report earnings this week, and this stock has been kind of doing well recently. It's been reversing out of a multi-month downtrend. If you guys look, HP was $36 back in the middle of May, and it went all the way to $26 in the middle of October. So 5 straight months of getting hammered. It went down 30% in that time period which means it was in a bear market, and now recently it has been reversing. You guys can see it hit $26, broke out of the moving averages, golden cross, all that good stuff, and we've been doing pretty well. We went up about 0.1% on Friday, which is really nothing, but the significant thing is we closed above the main moving average. One of the main moving averages, the 50 SMA on Friday, above 3150, which is a good sign. So I'm going to set my alert on HPQ at $32 per share. And if we do break out, and the reason why I put it at 32 is because that was resistance pretty much all of this month. It's been resistance all of November. So if we break 32, I think there's a bunch of gaps to the upside that need to fill. We're talking 33.50. We're talking 36, which was the high point from back in May that we talked about. So keep your eyes on HPQ, guys. It's looking pretty decent. One thing that is a bit worrisome, though, is we are seeing a bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart here with the RSI. So keep that in mind. If they drop the ball on earnings coming up on Tuesday, it might go down to 29.30, which could be a dip buy off this 180 SMA. So watch out for that. Crowdstrike is another one that we got some downgrades on, I believe, last week, and we got a big drop from 300 down to about 240. Then we got a relief rally to 275. Now we're falling back down to the mid 250s. Probably going to go and test the bottom of this channel again. And they report earnings. They're the company that I mentioned in the beginning of the video. They report on the 1st of December, so not this week, but the week after Thanksgiving. So I'm very interested because we got news, I believe, that some analysts are saying something about sales competition weighing on Crowdstrike, but we have now some analysts coming out saying it's a buy rating, or they have a buy rating, they're raising the price target. So it's kind of a mixed bag with the analysts when it comes down to Crowdstrike, and I believe this sell-off might be a bit overblown, which is why we got a little bounce rally. Now we're selling off again, but I want to see if we get another bounce rally, maybe at about 250, 255. So keep your eyes on Crowdstrike, guys. If this thing does start to rally above the moving averages, there's serious potential towards $300 per share. So put that one on your watch list. UNH is another one I'm looking at. United Health Group, which you guys recall, I called the breakout on. It was at 430 when we called the breakout, and it rallied all the way to 466, which was a pretty nice move of about 8%. And now we're giving back some of that gain. We're seeing some profit taking. We went down 2% on Friday, down about $10, and we're down overall about 5% over the past couple of days, down about $26, and now we're approaching the 180 SMA on this 4-hour chart, which is right around $427 per share, which I do believe right around $427, $430, which, mind you, that was the old resistance that we called the breakout at, which I believe now will act as support. I think buyers are going to step in around $427, $430 as the stock is very oversold. Even now at $440, the stock's oversold. So keep your eyes on United Health Group. I think there could be some buyers stepping in, some buying pressure there. I like it. GPS is another one I'm looking at this week. Gap, which this stock has been slaughtered, guys. I don't even know what else to say. It went from $37 per share. That was back in the middle of May, all the way to 21. So it went down about 40%, well into a bear market. And since it hit 21, that was just about 3 weeks ago, it's been reversing. You guys can see we hit 21, we rallied to 26, we consolidated a bit. Now we're starting to see some selling pressure at about 26, which makes me a bit worried considering that was resistance back in the end of September. So if we do get a push out of 26, hence why my alert is, you guessed it, at 26, if we start breaking out of there, guys, now we're talking a move towards 30. $30 would be the next gap, which was the high point from the middle of July, early August, early September as well. So with earnings coming up on the 23rd on Tuesday, I feel like all these companies that we're talking about today are reporting on Tuesday. With earnings coming up, GPS must be watched. If we break 26, this one's in play. And the last one for today is John Deere and Co. or Deere and Co. This one's reporting as well, guys. I believe on the 23rd. Let me double check. 24th, maybe? Yeah, 24th, actually. They report pre-market. And this stock is clearly in a downtrending channel. It's been in one for months at this point. You guys can see it's been trading within this channel for the majority of 2021. And just recently, when you thought it was going to break out, you know, we tested 365 many times, which was the top of the channel. It is the top of the channel. We failed breaking out of there once, twice. If I zoom in a bit, you guys can see it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Now we're seeing a big, drop, selling pressure. We went down $11 on Friday, down over 3%, and now we're hanging on by a thread above that 180 SMA. So if earnings are not good or they drop the ball in any category, guidance, CPS, revenue, it's not looking good, this stock's probably going to dump, guys. I'll be honest with you all. It's probably going to go down towards 320, 330, where that, considering, again, the channel, we've been trading within it for months, that is where I believe buyers will step in. 320, 330, and who knows, maybe earnings surprise us. They're pretty good. You know, we break out of 365. Now we're talking to move towards 400. So, yeah, keep your eyes out on DE. All these stocks, very important for this week, guys, many of which, again, obviously report earnings like we talked about. And let me quickly run through the list again if you guys are writing these down. We have DKS, Zoom, we have O, Realty Income, CVX, BBY, HPQ, Crowdstrike. We have United Health Group, UNH, GPS, GAP, and again, John Deere, ticker symbol DE, which we just talked about. So that's pretty much it. You know, these are the ones I'm looking at. You know, I have a lot of stocks that I'm selling options on that I'm going to be watching this week. I've been doing a lot of options. You know, you guys in my Patreon know that. I'm doing options on DraftKings, Snapchat, Tattooed Chef, Intel's one that I'm looking at for this week. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, drop me a comment, let me know your thoughts. Check out my Patreon if you guys want my buys, sells, call-outs, morning update videos, more access to me throughout the day. All that good stuff is on Patreon, link down below, or you guys can go to StockSurfFest.com/Patreon. Make sure to also get your $50 from M1 Finance and your 2 stocks from Webull up to $1,600. Those are both linked down below as well. Simply deposit $100 into both of those, and you get the free money. I also get some free money since they are affiliate links. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Again, as always, keep crushing the markets. Stay safe out there. Peace out, guys.